Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Meyer, Chief Customer Officer with the MTA. I want to thank you for joining us today for the reopening of the Bedford Avenue entrances to the Nostrand AC subway station. Really exciting. These entrances were closed more than 30 years ago in consultation with the police amid concerns about how we can effectively ensure public safety. That was then, and this is now. The city is a much safer place. The subway is a much safer place. That, along with generous funding from our enthusiastic support from local officials, is what makes today's good news so possible. I want to assure our customers that the MTA, along with our partners at the NYPD, including Transit Bureau Chief O'Reilly, are committed to providing riders with a safe experience in the transit system. These entrances are more than 1,000 feet long, nearly a quarter mile to the west of the entrances at Nostrand Avenue. That's taking precious minutes off of someone's commute. And when that makes a difference between catching a train or missing it, that savings in time add up even more. There are also other benefits in opening up these entrances. They reduce crowding after passengers get off trains, allowing for shorter trips and more social distancing. They also provide a direct connection to our really great select bus service, the B44. They also provide an in-station transfer between the northbound and southbound platforms. And they better connect the station with all destinations west of Arlington Place. I want to give a special thanks to former Assemblymember Tremaine Wright and former Senator Valmanet Montgomery. They secured the funding for station improvements here and helped us return these convenient entrances to the community. I also want to thank the hardworking employees of New York City Transit, TWU Local 100, who started this project just before the COVID pandemic hit. They worked hard through very difficult circumstances to complete the project. I also wanted to make a special shout out to District Customer Service Manager Sheila Hudson and Lou Landfair, who spearheaded the project. Where is Lou? Hi, Lou. So finally, I want to thank Chief O'Reilly for her commitment to making sure that this new section of the station is not only convenient, but it's a safe one too. We also installed brand new LED lighting and cameras throughout this entrance and station. And with that, we'll take your questions. Go ahead, Dan.
How you doing? I know when something like this happens, there's a trigger with the Americans with Disabilities Act. How do you plan to address that so that the MTA can open more of these entrances and more subway stations?
Yeah, so we're thrilled that this station is in our 2020 capital plan to get an elevator, so hoping to get more than one elevator, obviously. So hoping to be here in the next couple years, if the federal funding comes through, to install the elevators that are badly needed at this station. We have really ambitious plans to put hundreds of elevators throughout the system and throughout the stations, and want to make sure we get moving as quickly as possible with federal funding to do so.
Will you be able to open more entrances that had previously been shuttered because of that?
Yeah, that's the plan, and we've been doing that for the past several years, right? Thanks to the L project, thanks to other capital improvements, we've been opening up staircases across the boroughs.
Hi, I have a question. You mentioned, no, thanks. New York Post, you mentioned that you're going to be ensuring safety with LED lights. Is there anything else that you guys will be doing to ensure safety in these entrances?
Sure, I'll let Chief O'Reilly maybe answer that question from her side.
Sure. This is a great day for the ridership of New York City Transit. It's a testimony to the great work and the decades of crime reduction that we've realized in New York City Transit. In terms of keeping this station particularly safe, we're going to be deploying people on the platforms, on the mezzanine, and riding the trains, as we always do.
Did you say you're going to be deploying more NYPD officers on the platforms and on the entrances?
I said I'm going to be deploying officers on the platforms, riding the trains, and on the mezzanine.
And then I have another question. So the mayor said today, you know, in light of the recent spate of attacks, the shovings on the subway and the slashings,
There's been a spate of high-profile crimes happening in the subway. This is a particularly long stretch before the station entrance.
Station, we're on topic.
I'll just ask the
The
question,
mayor
and the
police
chief
commissioner
can answer it. If
They answered that question already.
I will,
refer
I'm
back
going to
to
ask.
your remarks.
I'm going to ask the question. What is there a change in the deployment to address these high-profile crimes that happen? Considering you had said in December you had added more officers to a deployment because of a resource issue earlier last year.
So I'm going to just follow up with what the police commissioner said this morning. We have deployed more officers. We've switched officers from plainclothes to uniform presence, to the platforms, to the trains, and to the mezzanine area. Also, after the protests died down, we deployed more officers into the transit city system